Hi, my friend. Welcome to Inspire to Run podcast. Today, I have the privilege of sitting down with Bruce Davis. Bruce was coming from a very difficult time, and he found peace through endurance events and obstacle course races. This year, Bruce has done 4 DEKA Strongs, 3 DEKA Miles, 1 DEKA Fit, Hyrox, Tough Mudder, 2 Savage races, 2 Rugged Maniacs, and 3 Spartan races. And he just finished up running his first half marathon and Spartan Beast. And this is only the beginning. Welcome to the show, Bruce.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here and sharing your story. You have an incredible story. This year alone, I'm just amazed by all of the races you run. I'm reading through this. I was like, I know you run a lot of races, but this is a lot of races in one year. And I didn't quite know the full story. So excited to kind of get into your story and just learn a little bit more about you and really what was the reason that led you to do these types of races. So just take it, wind the clock back a little bit and just tell us a little bit about your story.
I was just, just that everyday guy at one point. Just, we call them the gym rats. The guys always skipping leg day. Just, one day arms, 2 days chest, back, whatever. And it just came routine. I just kept doing it. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. And it was when my son's mother, when she passed, it was just I was at a lock. I just was still. I felt like no direction. I felt alone. I felt like I had nothing going on in my life but a routine. The routine was like the rat race of life. Going to work, paying bills, coming home. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I was just tired of that. I needed to find my tribe and my why. And it was when I discovered the Spartan races that that opened up the door for me.
Well, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. And, it's really great that you found Spartan and you found kind of that sense of purpose. And I'm really curious to understand or hear, like, why Spartan?
Why Spartan? Spartan was, me and my friends. Oh, we had this thing where we always, it was like we kept putting it on the tape on the shelf. Like maybe next year after that, maybe next year. We just didn't want to. It was just the regular, like next year. And it was one day I was on my phone and I seen an ad for the Spartan Stadium run. And when I saw that stadium run, I said, you know what, now is the time. It was only a month out. And when I saw it, I said, you know what, now is the time. Let me sign up. And from there, 30 days. I had 30 days to train. I trained myself. No coach, no nothing, just me and the will to just do it. It took me an hour and 40, I think hour and 40 minutes to finish that stadium run. And that it woke me up. That was the day I completely like switched. The light switch went right off click, and I was down. I was hooked.
Mm. So I appreciate you sharing that. Similar to my story, when I first started with Spartans. So, I was running as part of a team. We actually did train, so a little bit different from your story in that regard. But I did my first race. It was a Spartan sprint, and then, after that, I'm like, I want to continue doing this, and I could do better, right? And it was just kind of the spark was like, I'm going to start this journey of doing things that I've never done before and overcome fears. And this was a way for me to do that. So, but it really just took that first race to kind of light that spark.
Right.
So, tell me a little bit more about that. So, you mentioned that you didn't train 30 days, you did the race. Tell me a little bit more about like what did you experience during the race and then what happened
Oh,
next?
it was hard. My heart was just beating out of my chest. One good moment I do remember about that, Rich, was that I had no training with the spear throw, and I hit it on my first try. I'm like, oh my god, I got it! They were like, yeah, you did it. I said, yep, I sure did. So I was really excited about that. But overall, looking back at that, I discovered with what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were in doing that stadium run. And again, that will always be my favorite race for the rest of my life because that opened the door for me. That got me into this world. And after I finished, I was hooked, man. That's when you discover it all. The whole vault of what we do.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And for our Spartan friends who are listening, they're going to be super jealous to hear that you nailed the spear on the first try. So I can tell you, after many races, I don't think I've had a successful spear throw. So a lot of folks are probably going to be jealous to hear that you did that right out of the gate.
Right out the gate, man. And yesterday I did it and landed it, but I landed it on the second try because I knew I could do it. So I threw it up in Vernon and it missed. I said, I'm gonna try this again. Screw that. I'm gonna try this again. Grabbed it, concentrated on my breathing, leveled it out, boom, and hit it. And as soon as I hit it, I said, I knew I was gonna do it. I ain't gonna sit there and let that slide. I'm gonna hit that mark. Heck no.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So, what are the things that you learned when you said, you learned a lot about yourself during that race? Like, what are some of the things that you learned, and then where did you take it from there?
I learned how, the work. My weaknesses were being a better runner, learning how to condition my body, pace, and just overall just the sense of purpose. I mean, you know, dealing with your mental, because every time you turn around, it's something else. It's something else. And like I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, see, Spartan's all about mental. Yeah, the physical is there, but they really want to psych you out mentally. That's why every time you turn around, even at the stadium run, every time you turn around, there's more steps you got to go up. You got to go up. They want you elevated. They want you to keep moving those legs to go up. And so when you come back down, now you got an obstacle. So yeah, those were the things that I've learned, man. And I since homed in on that. I homed in on my mental, and now it's just about focusing on strength and being able to deal with the problems when they come, because they're going to come. Not everything's 100%. 100%. There's going to be some things that happen out there, but you got to be prepared for that. And I
Hmm.
learned that too, even with the stadium run, because things
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah, for sure. And when you talk about mental, is it mental kind of the focus and overcoming the obstacles of the race? Or you're talking about just in general? Because you mentioned that you had experienced a loss in your life, and you're looking for that community, you're looking for that purpose. So how did you balance that? How did you get your focus and your mindset in doing something as hard as a Spartan race with everything else kind of going on in your life?
Life, man. Shout out to Shamika. I love her. I love her still. She stood by me, even at my worst times in life. And when she passed away, it hurted. It still hurts. It hurts today. It never goes away. And sitting there, sitting, here, dwelling and not necessarily dwelling, but more so sitting on those feelings. Either I'm going to let them out through Spartan, or I'm just going to consume them in a negative way. And so I took her passing as a sense of she would want that from me. She would want me to thrive and be a way better person, or take my journey to the next level. And she's with me. She was with me through all of them. Her and my mother. I had a lot of times on my shirts, I'll put her name or I'll put her face. Even when I was at the stadium run in Philadelphia, I felt her presence there. Because it was because of her passing that helped me. Because if it wasn't for her passing, I probably would have never been doing this. So it was that fuel that helped me, be who I am. And I owe that to her. I owe that to my mother.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I think your message is a powerful one, because there are others probably in similar situations that are going through something. And I've seen through and heard through stories like yours and others how running and obstacle course racing has really kind of been there for them during tough times. And it's been something that they can turn to again, kind of during those difficult times. So I appreciate you sharing your story. And I want others to hear this and know that they have options, right? If they're going through a challenging time, it's, now's the time to, if it's something to do with being active and something to do with sports, that's great. Or even if it's something else, but just kind of that philosophy of just movement or just moving forward, right? Whether whatever that is.
Right, right, right. Life is hard. It's what we do with it that makes us who we are. And that's just it. You know, Life is like a DEKA Fit. You know what I mean? Or running, a half marathon, 10K, 5K, an ultra marathon. You know what I mean? And pushing through those will help you push through life because it's basically it's like the same thing. If you can run a DEKA Fit, ain't nothing coming. You know what I'm saying? Especially you beat your last time, man, you can do it. You can handle anything because of, again, what we do. Finding that time to train, finding that time to exercise. Life doesn't stop for us. Yo, we pay for this. We pay to do this. You know what I'm saying? They don't sponsors for us. You know what I'm saying? We pay to be here. So life doesn't stop. And we can, what makes us so unique is that we can continue to do that while doing the everyday things that everybody else still does. And that definitely, with podcasts like yours, definitely is a blessing that is out there so that people hear that and they see that and they know that.
For sure. And I love what you said about the crossover between, being active in the sports world and life. And, I worked for somebody who was always interested in my running journey and always asking me, did you get your runs or when's your next race? And they were really interested. And one thing that they said to me was fascinating because they were like, look, if you could do those things, right? If you could have the mental toughness to do those things, I know that you're going to show up here, right? You're going to show up at work and you're going to have that mental toughness. So, he recognized kind of the crossover between, the active or athletic part of my life and the work or the professional part.
Right, 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 right.
So let's hear a little bit more about your running journey. So I know you did the stadium, and I know we just talked about all the races that you've done this year. So let's talk about maybe one of your favorite races that you did this year and why.
Man.
Is that too hard to choose?
Yeah, yeah, because you know what? They all got a story. If I can, I don't even know if I have a fit. Okay, because I could say, the half marathon was most inspirational for me, but Hyrox was like the holy grail because with Hyrox, I had no running. I had no running experience. I ran that when I did Hyrox, it was I had 2 months of training for Hyrox. You know what I mean? And before Hyrox, I did maybe 2 DEKA miles. You know what I mean? So I had no running, and to be able to run Hyrox was an accomplishment in itself. So that's my favorite one because of where I was at when I did it. My half marathon will be the most inspirational because my running improved. My running improved. I maintained a 10-minute pace, about 10 and a half minute pace. My goal was under 2:30. I did it in 2:20:32. And to me, and Rich, my very first one, out the gate, I didn't do a 5K or a 10K. I just went right to the half marathon. And very, very inspirational, inspiring for me because I just wasn't a runner. I was just one of those guys. At my heaviest, I got up to 240, 240 like muscle. I was going to the gym just lifting heavy weight. And then I was like, well, to do what I'm about to do, I gotta bring it back down. There's no way I can move all of that. I mean, there's people that can do it, but I didn't want to do that. I never 240 was cool, but I like where I'm at now. I believe I'm at like my last in-body scan put me at 212. And the yeah, yeah. So I would say High Rocks because where I was at is a combination between High Rocks and the half marathon. Those are my favorites as of right now because every single race I did this year has a story. They all have stories. You meet people, inspiring people like yourself. You know what I mean? And the conditions. I mean everything, man. The first Spartan sprint I did at Mount Vernon, April. It was bad. It was bad. It rained that whole weekend. I did the sprint on a Sunday, and that the day before I ran my first DEKA mile up, kind of up in the same area, like an hour away in North Jersey. But it rained the whole way up there. But the DEKA mile was completely indoors. The whole thing was indoors, so it was nothing. So that sprint was brutal because of the weather. People were sliding down the hills. It was muddy. It was bad. They had to shut down the bucket carry because Saturday people kept falling. It was bad, and that race taught me a great lesson. And the lesson is simple: your mind makes it harder than what it actually is. It will always be that. Oh my God, I don't want to do an ultra. That's 30 miles basically. Your mind makes it harder than what it is. And I learned that with the Spartan sprint, because I did the rain, the cold weather. I don't want to go do all that stuff out there. Who does? We all want the nice sunny 60, 70-degree weather, but it's not like that. Life is not always like that. Is there going to be those clouds? And it's what we do with those clouds that makes us who we are.
I love what you said about the mental part, because it's almost like you're reading my mind. Oh, that ultra is too hard, it's too long. Because that's absolutely what I've been saying to our mutual friend, Coach Kevin. Like, oh, he's like, oh, the ultra's next. I'm like, I don't know about that. I got some other goals. I don't know if ultra's next. And then the death race, right? The Spartan death race. Oh my
Definitely.
gosh. I was like, the name itself should be an
I know,
indicator, but
right?
but no, it's super cool, the races that you shared. So first, shout out to Hyrox. We just had Coach Kevin and AJ Golick on Instagram Live talking about tips to crush your Hyrox race on Instagram. So that was a lot of fun. I personally haven't done it. I've only done the Spartan races and the DEKA races. So I don't know, maybe Hyrox is in my future. And then, you talked about the half marathon, and you were building up on the OCR side, but you went right for the half marathon on the road race side. So I think that's interesting that you did that. But like, how was that first experience for you, kind of doing that half marathon? Because you had been doing a little bit of running, I think, through OCR, so maybe you felt a little bit more prepared to do that race.
Right. Yes and no, right? And that's a great question, by the way. Shout out to Rich for that question. That's a good one, right? What it was this whole year, man, this whole year, everything. I thought about this when I saw Rich Ryan win the world championship in Atlantic City last year at the DEKA World Championships. I had this whole thing planned in my head, how I was going to tackle 2023. When I saw that, it was like Christmas for me when I was in Atlantic City watching this. And that's when I first met Coach Kevin. Shout out to Coach Kevin, underdog, all day. I got mad love for my brothers over there, including my man Rich. So when I started running, it was January, February, April. April was when I started running. Prior to that, Rich, there was no running. I did no running. I had no coach. I had no nothing. It was all me just learning online. I had no plan, no structure until April. April was when I finally built up got my structure in place, got my coach in place. Shout out to Robert Woods, Woodsy Workout, and he started putting things in place for me to start running. Interval running, progression running, easy runs, long runs. After I finished Hyrox and I started training for, because after Hyrox was over, my mind went right towards the half marathon, and we put together, my coach rather put together the plan for me, and that running progression, all of that helped with DEKA Fit, with everything else I had in the middle. So the OCR side of what I'm doing, I rarely do any running in the OCR. I'll power walk. I'll go up if it's a nice smooth like level. Then I'll do like a zone 2 light run. But for the most part, it's just living the experience and enjoying myself and meeting like-minded people. It be our hybrid races where I'll be into really trying to, PR, get in and, compare my time from my last time, like the DEKA Strongs. I did four of them. So the best time I did was like 16 and some change. You know what I'm saying? And that was my third one. My fourth one, I wound up doing 18 minutes. You know what I mean? But then I stopped because it was other, I had DEKA Mile and then Hyrox and all of that. So my running just, I used running as a base for everything else, especially now. So me running for the half marathon automatically is preparing my mind for the full marathon or for the Rocky run or for the beast. That no, my legs wouldn't have been able to take all that pounding had I not been doing all my running. So
Running is key. Yeah, for
running is
sure.
key for sure. Yes, sir.
So, tell me a little bit about one of the questions I like to ask the guests that come on the show is, what is the biggest obstacle that you faced during this part of your journey, and then how did you overcome it?
Wow. The biggest obstacle so far? Well, I want to say right now my biggest obstacle right now was running my I want to say running the half marathon. That was the biggest obstacle because I'm constantly that was the longest I was on my feet as far as like not a sense of now the Spartan Beast, but even with Hyrox, I wasn't on my feet that long, and it's mixed. You're not constantly running like you're constantly running at the half marathon. So I mean, yeah, yeah. I overcame it by my mindset. My mindset, persevering, thinking about my loved ones, thinking about, my loved ones who's passed, and, just grit and determination, man. Like not anything I sign up for, I am going to make sure it gets done, no matter what. Now that doesn't mean, Rich, that hey, like for example, I got the ultra right in April, and if I fail, then I fail. But I go with the understanding and knowing, guess what? I'm coming right back, and I'm gonna rock it the next time. So like I'm planning. I got plans for all of that. So mhm.
All right. All right. So incredible running journey, incredible OCR journey so far. What's next for you? What's coming up for the balance of this year and into next year?
Oh man, you know I got a saying. I probably got it from somebody, but I say it a lot, especially when I'm out there on the trails or if I'm at an event. There's always another race. When we are at races, that race, whether we started at that wave or our wave is later, the race is already done because we're here. It's always the next race, and that race that we're in is preparation for that next race, no matter what. So my next race that I got coming up is I'm looking to benchmark my 5K and 10K later this month, October the 21st. That's the goal. I gotta pay for it on one sign up. I haven't done it yet, right? That's the I am though. I am. I have the Philadelphia Rocky Run. That's the first time I'm ever doing that. That's another one. I always wanted to do that run, but never did it. But now, I mean, they have three versions of that. They got the 5K, then the 10K. And if you do both, that's the Italian Stallion Challenge. Basically, half marathon. So I signed up for the half marathon, and then that very next week, I'll do the Philadelphia full marathon. And that's it. After the marathon, I'm done for the year. I'm gonna just train for next year. And next year, right now, I got signed up for the Spartan Ultra. I'm making that rich. I'm making that a whole trifecta weekend that weekend. So I'm gonna do the Ultra and then the Super and Sprint that Sunday.
Okay. All right. Well, the world's going to hear it. You put it out into the world, and we're going to be there cheering you on.
My man, yes sir, yes sir. Oh,
All right.
and my future. I'm sorry, not to cut you off too. I still got that signed up. Hyrox. I got Hyrox DC. That's March of 2020 next year. And now since I got one on the books, it's PR time now. I got my numbers. The goal is simple: beat the numbers, and that's all, man. This is ongoing. This is ongoing for us. I'm not. This is it for me. This is I found my people. You know what I mean? And I love what you do. I love the community. We was out there singing "Never Gonna Give You Up" on the trail yesterday. Yep, we were singing that song because I had that song on my speaker and the battery died, so they remembered it, and we started singing together at the water station.
That's awesome. That's
Yes, sir.
awesome.
Yes, sir. So 2024, man. God bless it. It's going to be a fun year. I'm looking to run more, and I'm just so thankful for all of this. And I just look forward to having more stories.
All
More
right.
stories.
Well, we look forward to having those stories here on the show. So, Bruce, kind of as we wind down here, what is the one thing you would say to our community to inspire them to run while they're going through a difficult time?
I would say use that difficult time as fuel and fire and passion to pursue greatness. You know what I mean? Let it become what it needs to become in you to be the person you need to become. Because life doesn't stop for any of us. It moves forward. Just as there are bad times, there are good times. It's what we do that makes us who we are. So get off that couch, get out there, get those miles in, get those stories. Don't be that person, because that could have been me. That person 10 years from now, 20, 15 years from now, I wish I did it. I wish that's the worst feeling. And I haven't gotten there, thank God. Now I can sit back and look at the photos and you get that that smile. That smile because you did it. Not only did you do it, you trained for it. You worked 12 hours and then you still found a half an hour, 2 hours just to go out there and run or go out there and do some threshold work. You know what I mean? Compromise running work just because you want to be at your best when you are out there come race day. So get off the couch. Get off the couch, man. That couch is comfortable. It is. I have a comfortable couch back there. I can sit right there and play a game all day. But nah, man, it's about life's about living. So we got to start living. So live. That's what I would say. I would say live.
Love it. Love it. Bruce, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you sharing your story, kind of your origin story, your running journey, and advice for our community. So, how can our listeners find you and follow you online?
I mean, like in my past life, even in this life, I call myself a super editor. I'm a video editor. I've won awards in video production for 10 plus years. So a lot of people like I don't have like B Fit and all that. It's like B Productions. So if they looked on YouTube for B Productions, that'd be a good way to find me. I guess here, or they can email me if you ever want, Bruce Davis, the number 20 at gmail.com. That's a great way, a great, simpler way to get at me. And that's about it, man. My YouTube channel has a lot of my fitness journey videos, a lot of animations that I do, inspiring other people that I meet in the fitness hybrid community, people that I look up to, and people that I inspire. I get that too, from people saying, "Bruce, man, you inspire me, man. Thank you so much." Hey, I'm just trying to live, man. I'm just like you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like you. I just want my kids to be proud of me. I want my loved ones to be proud of me, my family, and that'd be, like I said, the best way to get to me with my email or my YouTube channel. Yeah, that's it.
Love it. Love it. All right. So, I'll put that information in the show notes to make it easy for our listeners to find and follow you. Again, Bruce, thank you so much for coming on the show and have a great day.